Hi, I'm William Christopher Ford, and I am a 5th degree black belt in Okinawan Shorin-ryu Karate. This is my dojo, Kaizen Dojo. We've been here for 10 years, and I have been studying martial arts for this month will be 48 years. I've enjoyed being a student of the martial arts, and that's what I continue to do, and I'll do that until I leave the earth. I wasn't very good at very many things. I was a very uncoordinated, shy child. I attempted to play the trumpet, and my trumpet mysteriously disappeared after about 3 months, and my mother had probably had something to do with it. But to this day, she still hasn't copped to it. She's like, I don't know what happened to it. Music just wasn't my thing at that time, but martial arts was, at least it became. What happened was I was in the 3rd grade and my buddy Joe had started taking karate at the local karate dojo. He invited me to go, and that's kind of how I got started. And I wasn't very good. I was very clumsy. I stuck with it, mainly because my mom wouldn't let me quit. She was not that upset when I stopped playing trumpet, but I think she saw the potential that martial arts could do for me. I was, as I said, a very shy, very awkward child. I think she knew that karate would be very good for me to make me stronger, to build my confidence, to help me become more coordinated, to help me protect myself, all the good things that go along with martial arts. And she was right. And that's what I've stuck with for all these years. Now, interestingly enough, I wasn't very good at the other sports. Wasn't good at baseball, wasn't good at football, wasn't good at any of that stuff. But eventually, what I learned through my martial arts training, I was able to transfer. And while I'm still not great at those sports, I'm coordinated enough, athletic enough to be okay. I'm not necessarily the worst. Not the best, for sure, but I can kind of at least hang at the picnics and things like that with some of the other dads. When I was a student, meaning a younger student in my sensei's dojo, sometimes he would pull me off to the side and work with some of the other kids, and sometimes adults. And a lot of it was because I've always had a lot of patience with people, and that is a pretty important quality to have. I found that I enjoyed helping people, and I enjoyed seeing them have that aha moment where they finally got something. And that's how I kind of started. And eventually, my sensei felt comfortable enough he might have been super tired, and I was still maybe 16 or 17 years old. And he would just say, okay, here's the key, lock it up, and, teach what you teach. I had enough on-the-job experience to learn from my mistakes, and I got better at it. Pretty soon, I learned to really love it. I love being able to help people, adults, but particularly children. Seeing children who were like me, who are like I was, who are shy and lack confidence, and maybe are bullied, and I can step in and help them, and it changes them over time. I like that. I like that very much, being able to help people help themselves. The Kaizen Dojo. When my wife was pregnant with our daughter Bodhi, at that time, I had a dojo before, and I ran it from 2002 to about 2008. 2008 was a very tough year financially. It was, a lot of stuff happening globally at that time. And I had a very small dojo up the street on Western Avenue, and I basically called it quits. The landlord wanted to raise the rent. There weren't that many students. This was prior to things like Yelp and Google and things like that. I mean, they existed, but at that time they were sort of in their infancy, and I didn't really know how to use them. I was done. But when my wife became pregnant, we talked about it, and we wanted to figure out a way to, when she was born, for both of us to be able to be with her, my daughter, instead of both of us working, putting her into someone else's care. Now, it probably would have been either her parents or my parents, and they would have been happy to do it, but they were getting older, and we didn't want to place that burden on them full time. And we wanted to be able to spend time with our daughter. So I thought, I'd just go back to teaching. And we started looking for a location, and we came across this place. And this location actually used to be a bakery when I was in high school. It's actually my mom's house, and my mom is now 90 years old. She lives just around the block. So we could actually get up and walk there and be there like in 6 minutes. And she lives on the corner. It became vacant and it seemed like the perfect place. So we set up shop here, thanks to Mr. John Kaji, who owned the property at the time. It's really worked out. It's a fantastic location. It's right by the 99-cent store and a bunch of other cool stuff, 7-Eleven, sushi place, the donut shop down the way. And it's just been a great place to be. Now, Kaizen is a Japanese word that has come to mean in modern times continual improvement, and I like that philosophy. The Toyota Corporation had adopted it within their company culture, and I just like that idea of always looking for ways to improve. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean as a martial artist. It could be as an instructor, as a student, as a human being. So rather than open the school based on a style, even though Shorin or karate is kind of like the base style, I wanted to base it on more of a philosophy of being, a philosophy of wanting to improve. And dojo, of course, kind of means, study, place of study. It's literally translated as place of the way. So this is the place of the way of continual improvement. That's what the Kaizen Dojo is. And that's what I try to do also as an instructor, as a martial artist, and as a human being. I see in the kids that come in here, their parents are looking for, they say, I want to help my child become confident and strong, or my child has a lot of energy and needs discipline. So those are definitely things that I can help with. Now, I am not a strict drill sergeant disciplinarian type of sensei, like some of my previous sensei were. They were great. I just have a different personality. So I think I'm able to get the results I need, but maybe do it in a way that's more nurturing. Now, don't get me wrong, I can be very strict and stern and old school if I need to be. That's still part of me. But I'm also very patient. That's my superpower. And I'm good at nurturing kids. And every kid is different. For me, there's not a cookie cutter way to teach or to coach. Some kids, they really need the tough love. That's how they get better, and that's what their parents want. Sometimes you have to give that to somebody. There are other children that I've never raised my voice to them because I've never had to. I've always been very gentle with them, and I've nurtured them. And both ways work. You just have to know when and how and with whom to do which method. What helped us through the pandemic, undoubtedly, unquestionably, was the support of our dojo families, the loyalty and the commitment that they showed. They stuck with us. We were going pretty much, we were doing it on Zoom. And the first couple of weeks, I just took off. I was just like, I'm not quite sure what to do. Let me just think about this. And then, Zoom. I guess I'm gonna have to learn how to do it. And I had some of the kids, as I was going on Zoom, they were teaching me, Sensei, you gotta push this button and this is what you do for this, so they're teaching me, right? And then once I got up the learning curve, I was like, okay, this is, we can do this. And it wasn't a substitute, but it was a good enough replacement at the time. And I learned through, my acting training and through all my years of actually teaching kids, where I kind of created a Sensei Ford persona over the years that's larger than life. It's a little bit of a cartoon character, and it's not a fake creation. It's sort of I just knew that I had to amplify certain parts of me in order to keep kids engaged. So, my teaching persona is like part my sensei, part Bruce Lee, part Bugs Bunny, part Tony Robbins, part Aladdin from the genie, the genie from the Aladdin movie, and then I bring the rest of my stuff into it. My warmth, my sense of humor, my compassion, my understanding. All the technical stuff that I've learned, and I sort of created the Sensei Ford persona that I was able to step into, and it wasn't manufactured. It was just taking parts of me that and amplified them. And it worked. And I found that I could easily access this character wherever I went. And it allows me to speak to almost anybody and to build rapport with almost anybody. And that's part of what helped me get through the Zoom sessions, because, you're looking at people, you're not getting an immediate response. And, sometimes there's a lag because of the Wi-Fi connection or whatever. And some of my peers were like, man, this Zoom, they had a hard time with it. And, with all due respect, if you have a more of a reserved, conservative, dry personality, it's amplified on camera. And you just kind of have to go with the flow. I was lucky, and fortunate where I was able to go, okay, guys, we're ready to go, let's Zoom. And, you kind of go with the flow. There's a cat that comes in the background. You just go with it, Kids, they want to show me their toys and everything. So we were able to figure it out and get through it. And again, it was because of the loyalty and the commitment of my families and the technology that we were able to get through it. So, that's all I can say. And, and we stuck with it, we didn't give up. And I'm very grateful. What's unique about me? I think it's my ability to laugh at myself and my open-mindedness and my patience. And not to say that there aren't other instructors who are like that, but everybody's kind of unique, and I've kind of been able to bring out all these things that seem to work. And I have very long hair, and that kind of makes me cool. I know every once in a while I get mistaken for being a handsome woman, but that's what it is. But my long hair has become kind of part of my branding. People remember me. If it goes someplace where you have to wear a wristband and everything, and they're like, oh yeah, we know who you are, dude. You're the long-haired dude. And I oftentimes have my daughter with me. Yeah, you're the long-haired dude with a cute daughter. Yeah, go ahead, no worries. So it's all part of that. And that's a difficult question to answer, but I am who I am, right? There are times when you have bad days, especially during the last 2 years. There's a lot of stuff going on, and you're worried about, the world and the pandemic, and then the divisiveness of, the political parties and the government and a lot of other things. And you worry about whether your business is going to survive. You can't bring that into the dojo, though. You can't. You have to come in and bam, you have to be able to leave all of that behind and lead from the front and become, you have to be positive, be empowering, give people that hope, give them that, encourage them. There were times when, I didn't want to come in and teach. I had a bad day. I was thinking about the world and all the problems and everything. But you do it. You show up because people are counting on you, and they're counting on you to be positive, inspirational, empowering, funny, knowledgeable, wise. All those things, all those cliche things that a martial arts instructor is supposed to be, a martial arts sensei is supposed to be, and I just did it. And I'm going to tell you, once I got to the dojo and I see the kids, I was refreshed, and I still am. Sometimes I'm tired, I'm like, and as soon as the first kid comes in there and they're happy to see you and they want to tell you a joke or they want to share something, then I'm like, I'm in the right place, and thank God I'm here. That's what keeps me going. But just like anybody else, there's some times when maybe I should hang it up. You get burned out. When I see the end result and I see the positive effect that I do have on people, I believe that I'm positively influencing and empowering, helping people empower themselves. I'm trying to do the good work, just like everybody else is. There is a word that everybody's familiar with called samurai. And people think that the literal translation means warrior, which it is not. It actually means one who serves. And it was a title given to the bushi, or the warriors, the warrior class. That really resonates with me, one who serves. So I'm always looking for opportunities to give back and pay forward, to show my gratitude, I'm very grateful for where I am and for everything I have. But I also want the kids to, I want to lead by example and get them to understand the importance of giving back. And it's not just about me, 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 me. It's like, it's about us, we. So I haven't done this. We have done this. I wouldn't have been able to pull it all together if it weren't for all the families and the people on social media, people from out of state, some of them I've never met, sending me money for food to donate to the communities, socks for the homeless, money for St. Jude Children's Hospital and other causes like that. That is what's important to me is the us and the we, and coming together as a community to hopefully in a small way make the world a better place, and if everybody did that, one of my mentors, Sensei Ford, is like, if you could do one nice thing, if everybody in the world did one nice thing every day, then it would totally transform how the world is. I'm just trying to do my part and get everybody else to kind of go along with the ride. I think when you're looking for a martial art instructor, it is very important to find somebody that resonates with you and that you have a rapport with. You don't necessarily have to like everything he does, but if you like his teaching style and if you like how he is with people and you can, and it resonates with you, that might be the person for you. I'm not so much big into styles, because sometimes people say, well, what's the best style to start in? Well, first look for a good teacher, look for somebody that you like, that you connect with, and then go from there. I was very fortunate in finding Sensei Richard Rubago, my first real karate sensei. After his brother Glenn left the dojo, I really grew exponentially under the mentorship of Sensei Richard. There was also another gentleman named Sensei Dave Liu who was at the dojo as well, who taught me a lot about boxing and kickboxing, and he was super, super open-minded, and that was something that stayed with me to the very end. But yeah, it's really important that I think you got to find a connection to whoever your instructor is and whatever they're teaching. And it's very easy to do the research on somebody, find out what kind of a person overall they are, and then you go from there. I used to see Sensei Fumio Demura on the cover of all the magazines, and I even had some of his books. And he holds a tournament every year in Orange County. So when I think I was a green belt or something like that, my mom took me to one of these tournaments and I competed, and I did not place. I had a lot of things I needed to work on, my form, my stances, my foundation. But I had brought these books, and I was hoping that Sensei would sign them. But I was a little hesitant, I was kind of shy. But my mom, being from Japan, and Sensei Demura being Japanese, she was very easily able to, bring me over there. She asked Sensei for me if he would sign the books, and he was happy to do it. But then she takes it a step further and asks Sensei, what did I do wrong with my kata? And I'm just like, oh my God, Mom! And Sensei was very kind, and he basically said, yeah, you tend to look at the ground, you don't focus straight forward, and your legs are kind of weak, you need to strengthen them. And so that was very, very valuable information, having a strong foundation in your legs, keeping your feet firmly on the ground, and looking forward. You can apply that in your life as well, right? Having your feet on the ground and having your focus forward. That's philosophy for life, not just karate. And we kept in touch over the years. We became friends. Many years later, in 1989 or so, I got a chance to be on a movie called Karate Kid 3. Sensei Demura was the stunt double for Pat Morita, who played Mr. Miyagi. I got a call to go down to the studio to possibly play one of the henchmen whose name was Denis. I like to call him Denis the Menace. And I get down to the studio, I meet with Mr. Pat Johnson, who is the Tang Soo-do icon, student of Chuck Norris and choreographer for the Karate Kid movies, also played the referee. He was in Enter the Dragon, right? Trying to collect money from Roper. He was the one who said, it's the dough, Roper, we gotta break something. Mr. Johnson was there. He looked at me and says, you look fine. No, I think we'll be okay. I get into the studio and there's Sensei Demura, and he's like, hey, what are you doing here? And so, I told him, well, you're looking for a henchman, and I can hench. When the director, John Avildsen, came out and saw me, Sensei Demura was kind enough to say, hey, John, this kid, he's okay, no worry. And I guess they really needed to cast somebody, so John, Mr. Avildsen, said, good enough for Sensei, good enough for me. And that's how I got on that show. So that's my cool Sensei Fumio Demura story, but he is truly one of the greats, great martial artist, and a great person, a great friend.
Thanks so much for watching. We spend a lot of time putting these videos together, so if you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and give this video a like, and to share to anybody you think might like it. And if you have any thoughts or suggestions on the video, go ahead and leave a comment. We make sure to read them all. Thanks, and see you next time.